The community affectionately calls me Mama Fox.
Yeah.
Because I treat my families like that. Everybody becomes in my inner circle and in my families.
I am excited to have you. I've been looking forward to this. You were, we had this scheduled in January and you were a little under the weather.
It doesn't happen very often in my line of work, but
It has to happen all the time in your line of work.
not for me.
Really?
Here.
Wow. We're gonna have to talk off camera about like the immune support you're using or something, because like
Over 30 years working with kids builds your immune system in a heartbeat.
oh, that's true. Wow, I never thought of it that way. I just keep thinking about like every colleague I have that has a child for like 3 years, they're just constantly sick. Like the parent, you know, I'm like, you want to do this? No, I'm sick. Like, oh yeah, I bet you are. No.
I mean, there's a lot of reasons for that. Kids do need to build their immune systems by being around germs and other people, and there's healthy germs and not healthy germs.
Certainly.
Also, choosing a high quality facility that is ensuring that they're following sanitizing practices and keeping sick kids out of their facility
I like that.
plays a part into that too.
I like that. Nice plug. I like to start these off with really deep, intricate questions. Is that okay with you?
Sure.
Okay. If you could pause time for 1 hour, what would you use it for?
I could pause time for 1 hour. What would I use it for? Probably to sleep.
Yes, that's what I would choose. Sleep. It's my favorite thing to do.
It's one of my favorites too, and I don't get enough of it.
Don't get enough of it. Yeah. But I always, you know, when I'm really, really tired, I'm like, you know what? I can sleep in 10 years.
Yeah.
Like, Lord willing. Like, when we get there, I can sleep. Yeah. What's a song from your childhood that instantly takes you back?
That's a tough one. That's really deep. Song from my childhood that takes me back. We all live in a yellow submarine.
We all live in a yellow submarine. Who sings that?
Oh, come on now.
Look that up for
My
me.
husband will kill me because he's
Is it the Beatles?
DJ by trade, and I am terrible at remembering who sings what.
Is it Javaris as well? Or KJ, DJ, right? Yeah. Is the Beatles?
I believe so.
I believe so.
He's looking at me like, the Beatles, man. All right. Last question from this section. What's something from your childhood that people today just don't remember or wouldn't understand?
Riding without seatbelts.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
Or having to be the remote control for my parents.
Yeah. I had that too. Like on the old TV.
Yeah.
With the tick, tick, tick.
Yep.
Now,
You got to move the antenna
that's
the
right.
right way.
But if you were touching, if you were touching the antenna, sometimes my mom would be like, right there, don't move.
And you're
'Cause-
stuck there.
Yeah, if you let go, like it's fuzzy again. You got to hold on to that thing. Yeah. We actually also had a lot of people probably had where if the twister didn't work, like you had to put pliers on it. You know what I mean?
Like that strict.
But yeah, this is how my mama did it. We had this is a fun story for y'all. So we had a TV that was color and had really good picture, but the sound was like like the speakers were broke on it. And then she had a black and white TV that was small that had perfect sound. So what she did is she got a little cart and she put the black and white TV on the bottom and put a piece of black cardboard over the monitor and the color TV on the top. And so if we wanted to change the station on both, we could watch TV that way. It was great.
So smart. You're genius.
Surround sound, yeah. So talk to me about Baby Fox. What were some of the first, you said you've been in business 10 years?
This March will mark 10 years that I opened Baby Fox.
Okay.
So I started Baby Fox 10 years ago in my home. We had moved to Arizona for a time, and I found out I was pregnant with my son, the seventh child. We have 6 girls, and he is the only boy.
Oof.
And I was working for a school district out there, I started my career working in the school district. I taught kindergarten, first, second, third, was a reading interventionist, a reading specialist, a curriculum coordinator, a district trainer. I wore a bunch of hats. They tried to get me to go to be an administrator. I even enrolled in the classes, and then I was like, I'm going to get fired on my first day. I'm too honest, and I like to do things the right way, and I just didn't feel like being an administrator at that time for someone else was going to serve my purpose. So I told my husband that I wasn't going back to work, and he was like, "You have 12 weeks. We decided you're going to take an extended maternity leave. You have plenty of time." And I was like, "No, I'm not going back to that." And he was like, "What you talking about?"
Yeah. What do you mean? We had a plan.
We did have a plan, and the universe has other plans for us sometimes. So long story short, I plan to open an in-home childcare in Arizona. Laws are a little bit different. You can have 4 children and not be licensed.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, it's the wild, wild.
That's not the case here in Florida?
No, you can only have one family without being licensed in most families in Florida. It's tricky in Florida, but good rule of thumb, if you have more than one family, you're going to want to be licensed and insured and protect your assets. So we had a 2-story house, converted the entire first floor to a childcare facility, advertised, and I was like, man, I hope I get 4 kids. I hope I get 4 kids. The day of our open house, opened the front door, and there were 10 families standing in my front yard. And I looked at my husband and I was like, so we're going to have to get licensed, and this is what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
What a
great sign.
Down to the 4 families. I put a few on my wait list very shortly after I got licensed. So that meant I could take 10.
Yeah.
We did that for several years, and then our children started moving back to Florida. My oldest found out she was pregnant and was like, "Hey, Mom, we need you back in Florida."
Wow.
I was like, okay, let's see what happens. Right. We landed in Sarasota because my husband has an uncle that lives here, and he's like, "Hey, I know this spot that the facility closed. It was in the middle of COVID. They had been open forever." And they just decided they were going to retire. And so we went and looked at it. And I'm a big believer in everything happens for a reason, the good and the bad.
Agreed. Yeah.
So, I was like, if it's meant to be, it'll happen. I'm not going to push it. I'm not going to get upset about it. I'm not sure if I'm ready for this yet. But the universe was like, oh, you're more than ready. And the pieces just fell into place. We opened literally in the middle of COVID when a lot of centers were closing. We filled pretty fast. 18 months later, another facility had closed unexpectedly, didn't tell their families.
Really?
And our photographer actually happens to be in the same building. And so families were calling me. My staff was calling me. It was spring picture day that these people were just putting stuff outside. They put signs on their door, and they were like, "Oh my God, they're putting all this stuff out. They're closing. And I was like, okay. So my husband and I drove over there to see if we could offer support.
Right.
And it ended up turning into us taking over the facility. We remodeled the entire 7,500 square feet, the playground. We repainted, we tore up the floors, we repainted the playground. I mean, we everything in under 6 weeks. Got licensed and opened all in that time because we had a great support system. We had a great relationship with our ELCU, the Early Learning Coalition, our licensing inspector, parents. We had one weekend where all the dads came and brought all their tools and helped us put together probably 85 IKEA shelves. It was like an assembly line. It was great. It was fun. It was my first and only time on a backhoe.
Hey, okay. Learn how to do it.
Grade the playground. That was so much fun. But anything worth doing is hard work.
Yeah.
So we went from 2 classrooms to 6 classrooms. So our first facility was 2 classrooms, 45 kids, 4 teachers.
45.
Potty trained and up. I was living the dream. I didn't have to worry about potty training, diapers, any of those things. And I was like, never going to do infants and toddlers again.
How old is that?
About 3.
Okay.
Some kids do it a little bit earlier, some do it a little bit later.
Yeah, I mean, I know when my daughter, I've just got one daughter, but I'm like, what's the cutoff? Like, because Just one. Just plenty. But yeah, I was curious, like what's the average? That's interesting. Around 3.
Yeah, around 3. Some kids are earlier.
Yeah.
They sometimes take longer. No offense. They take longer to do a lot of things.
Hard-headed. Yeah, hard-headed.
So
Goodness.
facility, we went from 2 classrooms to 6 classrooms, 4 kids to almost 100 kids, 4 staff to 20 staff.
Yeah.
And then that opened up the world of infants and toddlers. And within the last few months, we actually remodeled our original location and now take infants through VPK locations because the need for infant toddler care is so high.
Yeah, I bet.
And high quality infant toddler care.
High quality.
Ensuring that we're doing everything we need to do, especially for those youngest learners. You probably know these statistics because I've said them a lot of times.
Yeah.
90% of a child's brain is fully developed by the time they're 5, and 70% of that happens by the time they're 1. So those first few years, their brains, the
Sponges.
and the connections in their brain are firing
I'm picking up so much.
like crazy. And we need to make sure that we're laying a solid foundation for them doing appropriate things, not worksheets, workbooks.
Mm-hmm.
Need to be playing and building and getting messy and playing in slime and painting themselves if they so feel desire.
Right. Goodness. How large is the team?
We have, when we're completely fully staffed, up to 25. We are a high quality center, so we do have low ratios.
Yeah.
Most of our classrooms have 3 teachers in them. Quality is really important, especially in those early years, and making sure that you have low teacher to child
Ratio, yeah.
that the teachers are not stressed, which means the kids are happier.
Right. Yeah, I can see that. How do you look when you meet somebody at their interview, right? Like it's their representative, right? So like for somebody hiring for, Walmart or even an agency, whatever, you can kind of, it's possible to bring somebody in that maybe isn't a good fit. It just happens, right? But if that happens in your world, that's a huge problem. So how do you vet the talent that you bring on? It's got to be more intricate than the norm.
It's actually really intricate.
Yeah.
We look at resumes or emails that I get, people asking to join our team.
Right.
My assistant does a phone interview.
Okay.
And I feel like if it passes her muster, because I have set the standard for her so high that she has really high expectations, sometimes a little higher than me.
Good.
If it passes her test, then I do an in-person interview.
Okay.
I'm a pretty good judge of character.
Yeah.
Occasionally, people can pull the wool over your eyes.
Yeah.
They talk a good talk. But I'm very upfront and honest with my expectations. And we have very high expectations for our staff.
Yeah.
We're early learning professionals. We do a lot of professional development. We go to a 4-day conference that the company pays for. I'm advocating for high quality care. So a lot of people are in and out of the facility learning about what we're doing, how it's different, how I'm keeping my staff there long term. They're an extension of me. And in my 20 plus years of being in early childhood education, I worked for a lot of leaders that taught me what not to do. So I tend to be very different, and sometimes it's to my demise. Sometimes I'm too nice or too. I mean, the community affectionately calls me Mama Fox.
Yeah.
Because I treat my families like that. Everybody becomes in my inner circle and in my family. So back to the interview, I apologize.
You're fine, yeah.
Once they pass my in-person interview, we give a tour of the facility. We talk about the expectations, and I want to know what their goals are in the next 5 years. I'm not looking for somebody that's looking for a 5-minute job just to get them through. I'm looking for somebody that's looking to make early childhood education a profession.
Right.
Participate in a scholarship program that's paid through the state so they can get a degree or credential all the way up to a master's degree. And
really?
Increase their salary. The state pays for their tuition. The state gives them bonuses every
Really?
It's amazing. I'm actually working on my second master's degree using the scholarship program.
And it's paid for?
It's paid for.
What?
I wish they would offer a doctorate degree. I would love to get to be
The Dr. Fox.
Doc McCracken.
Doc McCracken. Oh my gosh.
So once they pass the in-person interview, then we bring them in and they spend 3 hours with us. We call it come spend some time with us, because I really want them to see your phone is not going to be on your person. It's going to be put away. Our teachers do interact and play and talk, and really we're facilitators and extenders of play.
Right.
So it's not a warm body that's just sitting in the corner in the classroom making sure kids
Not a
each
babysitter.
other.
Right.
We are not babysitters. We are building brains. We are building those social emotional skills. We are providing safety and comfort.
Yeah.
We are cleaning and sanitizing on a regular basis.
Oh,
So we
that could be a ton. Yeah.
see what it's really like. And also, we want to bring someone into our community that fits well into our community. So our
Yeah.
teachers have a little bit of say, not a whole lot, because sometimes, personalities don't always get along. And we remind people, yes, you have to work with this person, but you're not going home with them. You're not,
Right.
out.
If they're professionals, they can work together even if they don't like each other.
And sometimes we move people around based on personalities, because we hire for the facility, not for a specific classroom.
Makes
So
sense.
sometimes we have to shift teachers around. Sometimes being in the infant room for a really long time wears on people.
I can see that.
Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they're really great and they can tune out, when a baby's crying for 4 hours because they've never been in a childcare facility and they're home and someone's holding them all the time, and they have to slowly get
You
acclimated
got to adjust to it. Yeah.
being out all
Yeah.
the time.
I-
So if they pass that last test, then we hire them, and then they have the probationary period of
Right.
days, and generally they hit the ground running. If they've passed all of those markers,
Yeah, they're probably a sharp fit for it. That makes sense.
and I learned that along the way, because this industry does have a high turnover rate. It's about 40%, which is extremely high. And the reason for that is most facilities don't pay well. We are one of the higher
Oh, wow. Yeah.
facilities
That's
in
true.
our area. Starting pay is well over minimum wage, and most facilities bring teachers in at,
Really? Minimum wage? Oh, my goodness.
and some
What's minimum wage here?
14. By October, it's going to be 15.
You and I both know that nobody can live in South Florida at that rate.
Definitely not. You can't have a family
No.
on that. So, one of the things my husband and I make sure is that we compare teachers to livable wage. And we provide all of the supplies that they need. We have a storage closet that has all the art supplies. We do lots of sensory play. We provide everything.
So they don't have to bring it.
Being in a public school setting for so many years,
Yeah.
if I hadn't wanted it, I needed it for my kids.
Teachers have to give it. Yeah.
And everybody knows that's what teachers do. They don't want their kids to go out without things.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know until that was something that was before I even interviewed anybody. It was like, we are going to have a storage closet. I had thematic bins.
Everything you need right here.
Answers is in early literacy, so everything is tied to literacy. I have thousands of
I love that you took that lesson from your own, for your own experience. Yeah.
I started interviewing staff, and I was like, this is an added bonus. We have everything you need. I'm not going to be trying to figure out, how do I make orange paint because we're out of it? Or, we have no green construction paper,
Right.
because I've lived that.
Right.
And every single one of them was flabbergasted that we provided all of the materials. And I was like,
So they weren't used to it.
confused, because preschools are for-profit centers generally, unless you're in a church or
Sure.
another nonprofit. And so I guess I was naive that the expectation was
That's how it should be. Yeah.
be providing all of the materials.
Apparently not.
Apparently that's not the norm. So a lot of my first employees, they were like,
I can't imagine
Holy Grail.
have it.
We literally have everything in there. And if we don't have it, I'll figure out a way.
Yeah. I can't imagine making minimum wage and having to buy my own supplies.
I mean, one of my teachers was like, yeah, I did like my calendar set, all the numbers. That stuff is not inexpensive.
No.
And
It adds
I
up
was just
quick.
like, Oh, I know.
Because you buying it. You're the one buying it.
Years I didn't know how much I was really spending.
Yeah.
So we did our taxes at the end of the year, and my husband was like,
We gotta stop doing this.
Yeah, we got to talk about this. You got a problem.
What's some?
I started writing grants, and that helped a little bit, but
Oh wow.
I can't write grants now as a for-profit. So
Oh sure, yeah, that's right. Yeah. What's something you've had to learn the hard way along the way?
not to be so nice.
Tell me what you mean by that.
Both sides of the coin, with staff, sometimes you think you're doing good,
Yeah.
the right thing by being nice and giving them the benefit of the doubt. And
Yeah.
sometimes they just take mad advantage. Same thing with parents.
Mm-hmm.
I always feel like a child's better off with me in my facility than in some stranger's house watching TV all day. I'm thinking
Right.
the whole picture. So sometimes when parents are having a rough time, or they've lost their job, or I allow the child to still come to the center. And I expect to be paid for those services because I did the right thing and I put the child first. But that's why I'm owed probably $60,000
Yeah.
tuition over the last
I
many years.
yeah, not my only failure, but like I dabbled in business 20 years ago. I'm going to date myself. Yeah, 20 years ago. And I started like men's basketball leagues. So the county was running them. Money was short. They were going to cancel them. And I was like, well, I'll just rent the court, pay refs, whatever. Like, and we'll have basketball leagues and I'll make a little coin, whatever. It wasn't a business. It was just a way to make extra coin, I thought, and keep the league going. And yeah, I had so many people that were like, oh, money's a little tight, we got to buy Christmas presents. And I'd be like, well, don't worry about it. Like, come on, guys, you pay me later. And can't, it's unfortunate. But in business, you have to be, to an extent, maybe this is too harsh of a word, but you have to be cutthroat sometimes. Like, it's this or it's not.
I mean, I'm not completely
No.
point, but I have definitely put my foot down in a lot of different aspects, and some people take it the wrong way.
Mm-hmm.
I hold people accountable.
Yeah.
And it's an issue with staff right now because, again, we have super high expectations, and sometimes things slide a little because they're going through a rough time, or
Right.
they're
Which is totally understandable.
and then everything else just starts to fall apart. Because now, well, if this person's getting away with it, then I can
Then what?
get away with it.
Yeah.
And then, when you put your foot down, sometimes people are like, oh, she's so mean.
She's so mean. But you're just trying to survive because you got bills to pay too. Hey, I got payroll to make. Like, what are we talking about here? Yeah. All right. So talk to me about, like I said, I got a daughter that's 14. I know that as she's gone through school, I've had to help with like homework and stuff like that, as I should, right? Help with education and things like that. But at that age, what role do families play in educating the child, and how do you how does that work? Like, how do I say this? When my daughter was growing up, I could have a teacher conference and the parent, myself and the teacher and the child is there, and you can go, well, how are you dealing with this? And you get feedback. But at that age, you're not getting a ton of feedback.
So parents are a child's first teacher, and we do communicate at great lengths with our families.
Okay.
Another way that we're different. I'm in my facilities. I know my families. I know my teachers. I know the kids. I know where everybody's at developmentally. So if a parent has a question, they usually will come ask, how do I handle this? How do I handle that?
Interesting.
For example, a very common thing that parents ask for support with is they want to fully potty train their child, but they're having accidents at night. Because my big thing is you got to take away the diapers and the pull-ups altogether,
right,
and keep back and forth. They get confused.
Of course.
So the biggest, like, what do? I have to get up 3,000 times in the middle of the night because they're having all these accidents. I'm like, I got the most genius tip. Go to the dollar store and you buy like 5 shower curtains. And you go and you buy like 5 cheap fitted sheets. You go shower curtain, sheet, shower curtain, sheet, shower curtain, sheet. So when they have an accident, you're pulling off one layer.
Go back to sleep.
Yep. And if you have to do that 5 times in the night, then you can just throw them all in the washer in the morning, and the shower curtains you just lay outside and they dry. And
yeah, because typically you got to get that up, put it in the washer, and then
like, oh my God, that was a lifesaver. And I'm like, yeah, I wish I knew that one when
Yeah.
So there's a lot of things, when you know better, you do better. So we communicate with parents a lot on how they can be better parents, because children are not born with a guidebook.
Right.
You go to the hospital, have a baby, and they're like, here's your user manual.
Right.
And you need to flip through.
No, not at all.
We get them to sleep through them.
I've often joked that like the doctors hand you the kid and they're like, all right, see you later. Like,
You go buy a car and they give you like a 10-hour lesson.
Oh, yeah.
And this is where everything is.
and there's a manual.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do communicate a lot with our families on the importance of serve and return conversations.
Serve and return. I like that. Yeah.
And there's a lot of research recently that shows that children that have engaged in at least 6 back and forth conversations per hour have higher IQs. And that's because
Interesting.
you're engaging different parts of the brain. So what we've noticed, and a lot of people notice, our younger and younger kids have more and more screen time and tablet.
Yeah.
We're in the car and here's my phone and we're
Here, just play with this. Yeah.
They're in the restaurant instead of when we went out to eat on the probably like once every 6 months our parents took us out to eat.
Yeah.
You had the coloring sheets or you brought little blocks or toys. Now it's tablets.
Mm-hmm.
We're noticing a lot of kids older and older having communication issues. Their receptive vocabulary and their receptive language is really high because they're used to listening and taking in all of that sound, but there's no one to receive the return.
Right. The return.
We're having a lot of children that are having difficulty with speech because they're not having those, it's called serve and return, back and forth conversations, even with babies. Think about when your daughter was a baby and you would coo and say, ooh, and you could be like, tell me more.
Yeah.
Or you'd repeat the sounds. That's very valid and it's building that relationship.
What did you call it again?
Connection. Serve and return.
Serve and return.
I'm talking to you, that's a serve. And
then I'm giving it.
It's a return.
Nice. Wow.
So we do a lot of parent education. I do a lot of that on my social media also and sharing with parents. A lot of simple things like not forcing children to apologize. They make mistakes. You can ask your friend, are you okay? I didn't mean to do that. But when we are constantly teaching children to say, I'm sorry after you do something that hurts someone, damages property, or is just naughty, we're teaching them, I can do these things, say sorry. And
we're good.
Off scot.
We're good here, right? Yeah.
So that's also why in today's society, we have a lot of kids who just don't understand what consequences are. Sometimes they need those natural consequences of, when we're outside, we probably shouldn't run full strength on the asphalt because we're going to eat it.
Right.
And that's a natural consequence. So a lot of things, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater.
Yeah, it's interesting.
We grew up having and doing made us who we are. Our children today still need some of those things.
Yeah, and it's a completely different world. I mean, like with like AI assistants and stuff like that, how are they going to? We were just talking about this recently. Like, Alexa, turn the light on. And Alexa does it. Like, you don't really, like, but if I asked you to turn the light on, I would be like, Laurie, would you please turn the light on? Like, it's a different cadence, a different communication.
Because even when I use like Alexa or Siri, I always say please and thank you.
Yeah.
And now if you notice, if you use proper language and manners,
it'll respond. Yeah, so I noticed that she was probably 5 when we got the first one at home, and it was exactly like that. She said something like, Google turn on the light or Google turn on the TV or something like that, and then walked away. And I was like, hey, say thank you. And she would say thank you and didn't have a response. And about a year into it, it started to respond, you're welcome. Like, I'm here to help, or no problem, or something like that. And I was like, I remember telling my wife, like, yo, that's because people are, it's evolving. But yeah, I mean, there's got to be a ton of other examples where kids aren't going to deal with the things and learn the way that we learn.
The antenna for their parents.
No, they won't. Or go get the foil or the pliers and none of that stuff. Yeah. For somebody that wanted to get into the business, a young aspiring entrepreneur, and if you could only give them one piece of advice, what would that be? Breathe.
Yeah. It's it isn't for everybody. And a lot of people who are early childhood professionals, many of the staff that I interview,
Yeah.
their 10-year, 15-year goal is to own their own childcare center.
Right.
They work with me for 1 or 2 years and they're like, I'm good just staying in the classroom, or maybe I want to be like a facilitator or a trainer or something like that, because I love my families, but grown-ups make everything so hard.
Yeah.
They make it so hard.
Personalities and
I mean, just a lot of things, a lot of different kinds of parenting styles, just a lot of different things.
I bet.
If I only had to deal with the kids, it'd be golden for the next 50 years. On the days that I'm stressed about other things outside of my control, or I've been sitting in my office doing paperwork for, funding streams or federal things that are requirements, sometimes I just get up and I'm like, forget it. I'm going to go hang out with the kids for a little bit. And it's the best medicine ever.
I bet. So it sounds like so much fun.
Usually when I get to the center, the first thing I do, I don't even open my computer. I don't even plug in my computer. I take off my computer bag and my purse and I immediately go into every classroom and I greet all of my staff and all of the kids. Check in with them, make sure that everything's great.
Nice.
And then also just double checking, like in our 2-year-old room, how's so doing with potty training? And it's either it's been going great this week or it's been a complete show.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah.
So again, making that personal connection with my staff is important, and the kids.
Yeah.
That's the whole reason.
The whole reason you're doing it. Yeah.
Doing what we do.
So there was an entrepreneur in your seat about an hour ago, and I'm going to ask you this as well, but his question for you was, tell me about a risk that you had to take in business. And I probably know it, but go ahead.
That's a good one. Going from the 1 location to the 2.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Super teeny tiny to like, holy cow, this is what
2 locations.
Now. Yeah.
Are there plans to be 3?
There are some talks of some expansion, moving things around because we're out of space in 1 location, possibly helping expand availability in the community and partnering with some things, doing some things, hopefully creating a replicatable model that other programs and businesses can.
Oh, I know what that spells. Okay, I'll follow that one. Very good. Very good. Yeah, I understand that. There'll be another entrepreneur in your seat soon. And I can't tell you who they are, what they do, anything like that. But if you could ask an entrepreneur 1 question, what would it be?
If you had 1 day to be with a child, what age group would you want to hang out with and what would you do with them?
Interesting. I like that. Mark it down.
You got it.
All right. And then lastly, this has been so much fun. You've got a great network of other entrepreneurs and colleagues. Who do you think would be a great interview on this show? Who has an interesting journey like yours?
Well, we have a new CEO of our Early Learning Coalition, and she's amazing.
I've heard that.
She's amazing. I really adore her.
She's got to be a business owner, though.
Oh, okay.
I did.
Can I get back to you on that?
Sure.
I'll tell you right this second.
No, you can get back to me.
Because I know a lot of people like in the nonprofit sector more so
than business owners. Yeah. Yeah, get back to me. Let me know. We're always looking for interesting journeys. And so like when we'd met before, but like when I started hearing about like how you got into business, I was like, oh yeah, we got to talk. We got to talk.
Yeah. And now the whole advocacy journey is so great.
You just went to Tallahassee, right?
Went to Tallahassee last week for Manatee County Day.
Manatee Day.
First time.
Yeah.
Met some new people I hadn't met before. And it's interesting to be at a spot in your journey when you meet someone that you've kind of heard of but haven't really met them. And they're like, oh my God, it's so great to meet you.
They know who you are.
And I'm like, I hope.
Word? You know me? Yeah.
But but I'm in a new space that I wasn't really comfortable with when I first started in this space.
Yeah.
And other people would say that that's not true, that I'm in a room and I own it, especially when I'm in Tallahassee now. And part of that is because before I didn't realize legislators didn't know the provider's perspective.
Right.
And I have a lot to offer them, being a mom of 7, a grandmother. I worked in the public school sector. I was an in-home provider, and now I'm a commercial provider. I cover a lot of different
things,
and so I have a lot of different knowledge from all of those perspectives. And mostly now being a provider and saying, we have to change this, or this has to get better.
And that's really a perspective that really only you know.
And it's actually, oddly enough, started with a story came out last year in the news about the cost of childcare.
Yeah.
The entire article was parents upset about, it costs more than in-state college tuition.
Yeah, you brought that to a meeting. I remember you brought that up.
Get high quality early learning care for your child. You can't go to work.
Right.
The state of Florida loses $5.4 billion a year in lost revenue and wages, and from people not being in the workforce because they can't find enough stable, high quality early childhood education. So the space is now where people are listening. I started, I responded to the news story and I was like, hey, yes, childcare is expensive for families, but here's why.
Right.
Our liability insurance is the most that it's ever been, and our industry is higher than just about anybody else because parents are crazy.
That's going to continue to go up.
Commercial lease spaces is very expensive. Our number one cost, which is not very common in the business industry, is salaries.
Yeah.
We have a very labor intensive business. And especially being a high quality provider and having the low ratios. At first, my husband was like, we need to cut like 4 employees. And I was like, yeah, if we cut those 4 employees, we might as well say goodbye to the rest of them.
Right.
Because they're going to be
stressed out,
overworked, and all of these things. And now he sees the value. And parents really look to that because many of our staff have been with us since we opened. We can't always keep everybody.
Right.
Families change, people move, military spouses. And, when the government says you're moving,
you're out. Yeah, you got to go.
Or, and they love their spouse more than their job, unfortunately, as much as they love us.
Yeah.
So, I responded to her and I gave her all of these reasons, and she came out and she came out to the facility, did a huge story, and she couldn't even believe it. Like, we walked into the infant room and I was like, for example, starting an infant room is $15,000 approximately just to open an infant room. And one of the reasons is the equipment.
Yeah.
A changing table in a commercial infant room, $1,200. Cribs.
That's so much money.
And you got to have, so if you're going to max out, you need 8 cribs. So that's $5,000 in cribs.
Right there.
But I mean, we only have 6, but still. And one of them has to be an evacuation crib. So it's got to have the bigger wheels. It's got to be more sturdy. So that one's like $800. And then toys and rugs.
So much regulation.
One child, when you had a baby, swing, bouncy seat, Now multiply that times the amount of
blocks, toys,
rocking chair. And at my Lakewood Ranch facility, I have 2 infant rooms. I have a young infant room and I have an older infant room. It's called the transition room. So when they start crawling and moving around, we put them out of the way so that they're not non-mobile babies. Yeah, childcare providers do not even break even having an infant and a 1-year-old room. We start to break even around the 2-year-old age group. We generally have them because it's a pipeline into the other.
Right, it fills the others,
And right now I have a huge spike in all of our families are growing. Almost all of our infants are siblings to our already enrolled spots. And my 3rd employee just told me that they're pregnant. I have 3 teachers that are pregnant right now.
Yep. Hopefully they're not all on maternity leave at the same time.
They're pretty close.
Well, man.
I'm like, what are y'all trying to do to me?
Well,
also making spots for them.
Yeah. I'm excited, hearing about the growth that you've already had and the hint that you dropped about what's on the horizon. That's exciting. I hope that you'll keep me in the loop.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Laurie, as an entrepreneur, your most valuable asset is?
Me?
You're probably right in your case. I was going to say time. Your time. Yeah?
Yeah.
Well, did I put this down here? There was a box here. What happened to my box? We are grateful for the time. We just have a little way to say thank you.
Don't make me cry. I don't get presents very often.
Oh, that's no fun.
Oh, this is my favorite.
Is it really? It was a good guess? Chocolate with caramel, yeah?
Yeah.
Laurie, this has been so much fun.
This is fun.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.